Well, this week we're going to be in Romans chapter 3. We're going to be starting at verse 21, and we're going to read down through verse 24. There's a whole lot further that we could go, but time will afford us with just so much. So we're going to be in Romans chapter 3, verses 21 through 24. I'll give you a moment to find your place, and just remind you that this is the third in the series on Amazing Grace. We talked the first week about what grace is and how it applies. We said it's not a thing, but rather it's an experience. When we say that it's something that God gives us, we have to understand that that it's not a thing that He gives us. Several years ago, my wife and one of her sisters were talking about birthdays, and what do you give somebody who has everything? And so the answer is an experience. And they decided that rather than a birthday present for this year, they would give one another a meal, or they would give one another a place that they would go and have a little bit of fun. And so it was an experience. And grace is a lot like that. It's not a thing so much as it is a way that we experience the goodness of God. We experience grace in different ways at different times in our lives and in different points along our progression. Last week we talked about sneaky grace, how grace is already operating before we even become aware of it. From the time that we're born, God is working in our lives, and He's doing things that call our attention to His activity in our lives. And later, at some point in our lives, we might even say something like, well, I realize now that was God working in my life before I was even aware that God was working in my life. And so that's sneaky grace. It also goes by the name prevenient grace. For those who have traveled in Wesleyan circles, you'll probably know it by that name. This week, we're going to talk about saving grace and how God's grace works in our lives in a different way, to bring us closer to Him and to change our relationship to Him. The fact is that if you look around, we have trouble in this world. I've been saying for well over a year now on this broadcast and others that what we're experiencing in our world around us, it's not, we don't need social justice answers, and we don't need political answers. What we need is a theological answer. We need a Christian answer, because the problem that we're dealing with is not politics, and it's not cultural. The problems that we're dealing with are sin. And of course, you make people mad when you say that, but there's no way around it. Sin is what levels the playing field between individuals. It's a reminder that we are all broken, and no matter what our material condition might be, we're all in this together when it comes to sin. And when you look at sin and you look at the consequences of it, it's always destructive. Sin is always destructive. It means that we have settled. We've opted for a life that is less than what we were created for. We're living less than what we were designed to be. I remember back in the 90s when Microsoft Office first came out, that there was a lot that was going on in that package. They'd combined the best of a lot of different programs. And I remember reading an article that if people bought it off the shelf, that they were likely to implement it up to about 35% of its usefulness. But when Microsoft sent representatives to businesses to train people and show them how to use it, it bumped up into the 70s. The usefulness bumped up into the 70s, because people started to realize how this stuff began to work, and how it was designed to work, and how it was designed to flow. And I have to admit that I was one of those 30-somethings. We didn't use it for everything that we did, and we were using something in ways that were designed to be used. What sin does to us people, it causes us to live lives in ways that we're just not designed to live the life that way. It's rebelliousness. It's turning our back on God and do it our way. That's the epitome of what the nature does inside of us. I did it in my way. And doesn't matter what anybody else wants. That's what I did, and I'm proud that I did. It's rebelliousness. It's a break trust. It's a break relationship. And ultimately, that rebellion can end up costing us pretty much that we can. It's enslavement. Paul quite often refers to sin as bondage. And one of the surefire ways to know if that's us is any time I'll go, yeah, and it turns into the 10 minutes of our lives. I tried it once, and it's 5 minutes of my life. But it's enslavement. At the same time that enslavement is also a stand. We don't have a relationship with God designed to have. We don't have a relationship He wants us to have. And that's important because when we begin to see sin, as we begin to understand that they were all in this together, we have the world. We still find trouble in this beginning at verse 1, but now apart from the law of righteousness of God made known, which law and prophets test is given through faith in Jesus Christ. All who believe, there's no difference between Jew and Gentile, for all of us and fall short of the glory of God. And all are justified freely by His grace through redemption that came by Christ Jesus. I want to focus for a moment on this idea of falling short of the glory of God. Before we do that, we are fully and wonderfully made. We are designed by You, and that You give us a purpose. We're thankful for the love that You give to us, the grace that You give us, despite of sinfulness, despite of who we are and what we've done. I pray that You would remind us today, that You would show us today, if we're not already aware, that even though we be at the lowest of our lives, You love us, that You care for us, to forgive us, You're willing to show us Your saving grace. We thank You. We pray that You hear to keep your hearts receive in Jesus' name. I pray that because we're going to talk about something that we're careful. It's really convincing, and that's not the purpose of this. The whole point of grace is to remove the condemnation. Paul says 5 chapters now in Romans, there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. But when we get to that point where sin begins to we realize that sin, and the Holy Spirit starts to, because that's conviction, not condemnation. Satan is the one who condemns. The Holy Spirit is the one who convicts. And it's important that we understand that, because if we don't, and we begin to get mixed up, then we see into God that exists. It's that simple. It's that important. All of history, all of sin, all of the glory of God. And if we're not careful, we read that as being the same thing. All of sin and all have fallen short of the glory of God. But that's not the same. That's not what Paul is saying. Sin is not just falling short of the glory of God. That was the case. We will never attain the glory of God, which means we can never be free from sin or its effects. And just to go ahead and go out on a limb, why bother? If I can never be free from sin, if I can never be free from its effects, why bother? What's the point? Well, Pastor, off the how? If I'm always reminded of my short time, no one has to glory, designed to reflect His grace out into the world. That was the purpose that we were made for. That's the purpose for which He made us. And we were supposed to share in that glory. When the mirror reflects light, lights up. It's itself. That's what I'm saying. The mirror itself lights up as it reflects light. And we're supposed to shine with God's glory as we reflect the glory in the world. But when we sinned and the fall came around and scattered the world, we fell short of the glory. We became crackers, as it were. We lost that ability to be the image of God and reflect that out into the world. That's one of the problems that we have sometimes when we lived in ways that aren't very good. And we become a Christian, and other people around us are going, I know you really are. I know what you've been, I know what you've done. There's no way that God can love you with my face. And we start and it's horrible because we feel that condemnation. It's we're designed to carry God's glory into the world. And the mirror is cracked, and we're not able to do that. And the people are going, see? It's a horrible place to be. We fall short of the glory of God precisely because of sin. If we equate sin and fall short and out of it, that's not what sin here means. John Wesley defines sin as a willful violation of the law of God. In other words, I know what God requires of me. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I'm supposed to not do. And sin is when I willfully violate that. When I willfully don't do what I'm supposed to do. When I willfully do what I'm not supposed to do. That thing is sin. Remember, and all things are sin for everybody. That's another thing we need to understand. All things are not sin for everybody. But if it impairs your reason, if it impairs your faculties, if it creates a distance between you and God and you and other people, that thing for you, that's sin. And so when we begin to understand what sin is, well, it's not just the problem, but it's the problem of the text. Because we are, well, how do I say it? Sin is a level playing field. And it reminds us that in our brokenness, no matter what our condition is, we are broken. And it just lays that playing field level. We're all on the same level when it comes to sin. Well, that's what Paul is saying here. We've all sinned. We've all fallen short of the glory. Jews have done it. Gentiles have done it. In that regard, he says there's no difference between Jews and Gentiles. And so because of that, we all need God's grace equally. We all need God to look on us with His favor equally. And it is in verse 24 that even though we've fallen short of God's glory, you're all justified free His redemption that came in Jesus Christ. That's grace. And so that helps to understand the whole point of Jesus. It helps to understand, first of all, that goal for us, God's purpose for us, is not to live in this fallen condition. God's purpose for us is to His grace. He justified grace through the redemption that comes in Jesus. See, that's where we have this the moral yes. You know, if I am going to heaven because well, no, maybe it's good as whatever, I'm not so bad as and so we've got these little in 2004, I think it was, that said 70% well, sometimes the lack of coffee takes control. And I sent out something this past for everyone that your morning coffee will take you through the time for your drink. Sometimes we need it like that. Most of the time we need grace like that. We need grace to take us from this place to this place, and for that we rely on this with all of us and sneaks behind us, catches us. What? And when that moment comes, that's when we realize that our own moralism, our own goodness, well, it's seldom enough. Try to sound humble. I know I'm great. I know problems. But the fact of the matter is, it's not our humility that's going to save us either. I'm going to look at us and go, well, you weren't really a good person, but hey, at least you realized it. That's not where it goes either. Salvation has to be understood as being for the person. Saving grace is that thing that brings us back to the right relationship with God. It's not just something that stands on the edge, but it works completely, holistically. It brings us back out of our misery, and it removes the blinders that we have both for ourselves and for other people. Saving grace restores us to our community because it builds a relationship. We understand our purpose again, and it reflects the grace of God to the community, to reflect His glory onto a world that, even though it deserves it, needs it so badly. Saving grace, it calls us out hiking the dangers of the COVID. A lot of everybody's in their homes. A lot of us, we look and say, prepared for this moment of life. I'm living, be alone. And that's a problem. We are cues from our social life. If I'm telling a story or something, if I'm behaving in a certain way, if I'm reacting in a certain way, somebody looking at me going, I realize maybe I'm going down the wrong road. When I'm telling a story, and I realize, oh, no, I'm going far. I get mad at the and the thing of the Holy Spirit a little more. But saving grace calls us out of hiding. It calls us back to relationship. We are getting back into the community because that's how we reflect God's glory into the world around us. Saving grace slips into our homes. It liberates us. It restores us. It commissions us. God's grace here in the text reminds us that we are the people of God. His children. Just by His grace that we're just a tricky word. The best way that I've ever translated justification as if I had never sinned. Justification just as if I had never sinned. It's only through the redemption that comes by Jesus. Jesus is our sacrifice. He shed His blood. He gives us everything we need it through faith that we can be righteous as well. He did it in Paul 26 to demonstrate His righteousness at the present time, so as to be just, and the one who justifies those who have faith in Jesus. Where Paul says it's excluded. What law? That requires works? No, because the law requires faith. Faith in what? Faith in grace of God. And so we started out from the world, how there's trouble in the text. We see grace in the text. We see the final grace in the world. I think that for us is an important point when we come to the place we understand God's saving grace. We understand the power of transformation. It didn't come to make good. He came to make dead people live. Jesus comes to And that transformation that takes place in us is the power to transform community. I'm supposed to say there's wholeness, social wholeness. That's not social justice. In fact, social justice, by the standards we have today, social justice will keep people in bondage, keep people. There's no redemption, there's no forgiveness, there's no coming back from it. So wholeness, on the other hand, is recognized that God does in one person, he will do it all. And the transformation that takes place in one person will transform an entire community. Community can transform a state, that state can transform a nation can transform the world. We realize that we have received something that we neither earned nor deserved, but God gave it freely. And because God gave it to us, we were changed from the inside out, and now others have it. That's part of God's providence. That's what we mean about being a Christian nation. It doesn't mean that God favors us and no one else, but it means that we are supposed to be the example for the world of what God can do in people on a wide scale. The United States is a Christian nation. It means that if people look at what God has done for the United States, look for it. I say this is controversial here, but I firmly believe that places that have been given over to their gods, you find a level of chaos that exists in ways that it does not exist in a Christian nation. That's where you operate as God. When you see places that freely regard voodoo and child sacrifice and other ways of ways that don't acknowledge Yahweh as the most high God. Well, what do you expect? We expect the chaotic control that has had us since day one. And the only way out, Paul lays it out, the only way out is through the redemption in Christ Jesus. And so it's our responsibility to show the rest of the world what relationship with Yahweh looks like. We do that through the blood of Jesus. We do that through accepting grace that offers to us. That's what it means to be a peculiar people. That's what it means to be a Christian nation. Here's transformation. I think to see stories of transformation. I remember hearing one time in the church. I've never seen God actually turn water into wine. I've seen transform alcohol into wine. I've seen transform alcoholic parents into parents who pay attention to their children and demonstrate love and become vegans. I have seen God work in so many ways to straighten out lives and to make us better than we ever thought that we could be. We have to move beyond this abstract idea of just getting and start talking about what it looks like when it happens. See, too many people not want to talk about, well, I'm saved and they don't that's their business, and that's not what God calls us to do. There is trouble in this world. The text confirms that trouble. The text tells God's saving grace is, and if we simply get grace, I think we'll see the transformation which we may have never seen before. Together, Father, we are thankful for your grace that covers us, that changes us, that makes us better than we ever thought we could be. We're thankful for your grace that tells us that Jesus apportions grace in whatever manner it needs to be apportioned. So, well, but it's not some require a little extra grace. Some of it requires a lot of extra grace. But you gave it. And we experienced it in ways beyond our wildest notions of what a relationship with you look like. We're thankful this evening as we gather here that us abundantly. They make our life full. And so you would remind us for the purpose that we're here to be rulers and priests, help us to the of the earth, to tell the other nations what you've done for